Cinco de Mayo. When you think of that day, you probably think of parties and celebrations. But the real story behind the 5th of May? Oh, it's so much more dramatic. We're talking about a nation on the very brink of collapse, an invading empire, and honestly, one of the most incredible underdog victories in history. So today, let's get into the real story of Cinco de Mayo.
This, right here, really gets to the heart of it all. Before the battle even started, the Mexican commander, a guy named General Ignacio Zaragoza, framed the whole conflict with these words. On one side, you have the French army. I mean, these guys were considered the best, the most professional fighting force on the entire planet. And on the other, the first sons of Mexico, way outnumbered, seriously outgunned, but they were fighting for their home. It was the ultimate David versus Goliath showdown.
So how did it even come to this? To really understand the battle, we've got to rewind a bit and look at the crisis that put this whole nation under threat, setting the stage for one of history's great confrontations.
Okay, so here's the deal. Mexico was in a really tough spot. The country was basically bankrupt after this brutal civil war, and it owed a ton of money to Spain, Britain, and France. Well, the ambitious ruler of France, Napoleon III, nephew of that Napoleon, saw his chance. He decided to use this debt as an excuse to invade. His big goal? To build a French empire right here in the Americas. And so his elite army started marching toward Mexico City, and it looked like absolutely nothing could stop them.
But the road to the capital city ran straight through a fortified city called Puebla. And it was right here, on this very ground, that the French army's unstoppable advance would meet its first real test. This is where history was about to be made.
So picture this. On the outskirts of Puebla, the Mexican army chose its ground. They dug in on two key hills, which were topped by the forts of Loreto and Guadalupe. This was it. This was their line in the sand. If the French broke through and took these forts, the city and probably the whole country would fall. Everything, and I mean everything, hinged on defending this high ground.
But an army is way more than just a spot on a map. It's about the people, the leaders. And the defense of Puebla was about to create a whole cast of unlikely heroes whose names would become absolute legends in Mexico.
Leading the whole defense was General Ignacio Zaragoza. He was a brilliant and determined strategist. But he was no fool. He knew his forces were the underdogs, big time. His real gift was his ability to inspire courage in his men, even when facing impossible odds. And that was going to be the deciding factor.
And Zaragoza wasn't alone, not by a long shot. He had this incredible command staff. You had a young Porfirio Diaz, who would actually one day rule Mexico, leading a key flank. You had Engineer General Felipe Berriozabal, who brilliantly organized the defenses, and Juan N. Mendez, who rallied local volunteers from Puebla itself. This was a team, a united command, ready for the fight of their lives.
But maybe, just maybe, the most powerful symbol of unity came from another key general, Miguel Negrete. See, Mexico was really politically fractured at the time, and what he did before the battle, well, it spoke volumes.
Here's the thing. Negrete had been a political rival of the government. But when he was asked to join the defense of Puebla, he came back with this iconic line, "I have a country before I have a party." Just, wow. In that single moment, all the political squabbles just vanished. All that mattered was defending the nation.
But the heroes here weren't just the generals. The victory at Puebla would have been totally impossible without the ordinary citizens. We're talking about peasants, local artisans, and indigenous people who grabbed whatever weapons they could to defend their homes. And the women played such a vital role, running supplies, taking care of the wounded, making sure the soldiers were fed. This was truly a people's defense.
So the stage is set. You've got this smaller, poorly equipped army made up of professional soldiers and citizen volunteers holding a defensive line against what was considered the world's most feared military machine. The question on everyone's mind was pretty simple. Could they actually pull this off? Was this even possible? On May 5th, 1862, the world got its answer. The French army charged the Mexican forts again and again and again. But against all odds, the defense held. They held firm, and they delivered a stunning, glorious victory.
This is the actual message General Zaragoza sent to the president right after the battle. The national arms have been covered in glory. The French were in retreat. The outgunned, outmanned sons of Mexico had defeated the first soldiers of the world. I mean, this victory sent shockwaves clear across the globe.
Now, here's something that's really important to understand. This one battle, it didn't actually win the war. The French would regroup and they'd eventually take Mexico City. So you might be asking, why is this one day remembered so fiercely? Well, the answer isn't about the immediate military result. It's all about the powerful legacy of the battle.
The thing is, the victory at Puebla was a massive moral and symbolic win. It proved to the Mexican people and to the whole world that they could stand up to a foreign invader and win. It became this incredible rallying cry, a source of huge national pride, and it inspired the resistance that would keep fighting for years until the French were finally kicked out for good.
And that's why this date, the 5th of May, resonates so deeply. It is so much more than a battle. It's an emblem of Mexican resilience, a symbol of a nation's unbreakable spirit, and a powerful testament to the will to fight for freedom, no matter the odds. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? The victory at Puebla shows us that sometimes a single day really can forge an eternal legend. It's a story not just about what was won on the battlefield, but about the enduring power of courage and national pride. So the next time you hear Cinco de Mayo, you'll know the incredible, real story of the heroes who earned their place in history.